Hey guys, Engineer Pat 5290 coming to you with part 2 of the Q&A series. We're going to kick part 2 off with Steve Wiebe, BB Channel. Glad to see you coming around, buddy. Uh, he asked a list of questions. Do you ever play on Rail Fan UP in North Platte? That's been on my to-do list for a while. I plan to go out there someday. Have you ever heard of the Three Rivers Rambler in Knoxville? That sounds like it'd be a pretty good place. Provide some information on that. I'd love to know a little bit about it. You think CSX will start a Steam program? I'm not sure, but if they do more commemorative units, that'd be pretty cool too. Nickel plate 765 with Pearl Marquis 1225. I like both of them. Have you ever been to Natural Tunnel in Virginia? I have been to Natural Bridge before. I don't know if it's in the same area, but I've been to Natural Bridge. I don't know if I've been to Natural Tunnel yet. I have to take a look. Berea or Fostoria, never been to either one of them, but I have plans to go there in the future. Clinchfield or the Seaboard system has to be the Seaboard system. Did you know there are two family lines GP16s off the NS Asheville district? I actually knew about that. Glad to see some of the older EMD GP series are still running the rails. What are some of the tourist roads would you like to see NW operate the NW 611 in the future? Almost any museum that has an active railroad. If there's a good chance where a little museum railroad has room to run it, man, that would be awesome. Which one of these locomotives would you rather see go around Horseshoe Curve? The 611, 449, 844, 3751, or Milwaukee Road 261? I wouldn't mind seeing all of them because Horseshoe Curve is a famous landmark. And let me say this much. If all of them rode the Horseshoe Curve, buddy, oh man, that would literally make a rail fan's dream come true. So thank you, Stevie Weavy BB Channel, for your questions. Amtrak fan 2115 comes in. Glad to see you're back around, buddy. What is your favorite NSGE and EMD rebuild? For the GE, the C6M. The EMDs, I have a couple of favorites. The SD70 ACU and the SD60Es. I mean, I like most all of the EMD rebuilds, but those two are actually one of my favorites. My third favorite would have to be the SD40E. So thank you, sir, for your questions. Eastern Coast Productions comes in. Glad to see you're back around. What's your favorite 60 model variant, SD60 model variant, standard cab SD60? What retired model would you bring back to NS? Any of the 60 variances. Will you ever do school bus spotting? That's a good question. Well, if you think about it, it is pretty much a school bus is a passenger truck. It's a truck that is built for passengers. So technically, you're getting that with truck spot. I mean, I've always combined it because every once in a while I'll get a little school bus here and there, or even just a charter bus, which is pretty cool to get too, because it's technically a truck that's designed to carry passengers. So that's just what if you think about it. So thank you, sir, for your questions. Andrew Leo comes in with a question. Which of these fallen flags roads do you mostly prefer? Great Northern, Northern Pacific, Spokane, Portland, and Seattle, or Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy? They're all BNSF predecessors, and I like a little bit of both because of their power. The Northern Pacific, of course, I've always liked the CB&Q because of the famous Burlington Zephyr. Spokane, Portland, and Seattle was pretty cool. The Great Northern was cool because of their Empire Builder, and in fact, Northern Pacific was the only railroad out of the Pacific railroads that did not become part of Union Pacific. Northern Pacific became part of BNSF because the Great Northern and the Northern Pacific merged in 1970, and that was known as the Burlington Northern merger, because Western Pacific, Southern Pacific, and Missouri Pacific all became part of Union Pacific. Northern Pacific became part of BNSF. So, thank you, sir, for your questions. Patrick the Fox comes in. Glad to see you, buddy. Ask the question, what are your thoughts on the Grapevine Vintage Road having two FL9s paying New Haven? Glad to see they've been preserved. Glad to see they've been preserved. So thank you, sir, for your questions. Standard gauge railroad comes in. Got a few for you. You already know this question. Yeah, I know. When am I coming to Jersey? It's on my list to come. Favorite train crew? I like a lot of train crews, but VO7 is the best one because they're awesome guys and they are very, very nice people. And they set a very good example for these train crews of what train crews should be. So, any trips planned for the next couple of months? I haven't really decided yet, but maybe think about maybe going back on the Southern a little bit. So, thinking about that. Gonna be out there in the Norfolk District a little bit more often. Yeah, I might try to get out there some this winter too and try to get some more of the nighttime shots. Haven't seen the end screen on your channel for a while. What's going on with it? Just haven't put it up in a while. Just took a break from it, but I'm gonna try to get it back up there as soon as I can. Well, I apologize about this. My phone's going off. So, thanks, bud, for your questions. Um, this was actually a pretty good one here, just because I haven't done it in a while. But that's gonna come back soon. Okay, so you will be seeing it in screen soon. And the final user that comes in is BNSF Bishop. Glad to see you're back, bud. You got 5 of them. Which is better, GE standard or wide cab? I like both. The standard cab looked good on the Dash 8, and the wide cab looks good now. The only reason the standard cabs were discontinued is because of the mandated requirement for all locomotives to have a wide cab by the Federal Railroad Administration, because it protects the crews a little bit better. And plus, the reason why the C6Ms, when the older Dash 9s, they're actually getting the old wide cab off and being replaced with a new wide cab. That question has a good answer, because the newer wide cab is compliant with the new crash component requirements that are required by the Federal Railroad Administration. So, want to explain a little bit about the wide cab on that. Least favorite locomotive that exists today? My least favorite, I have no idea. My least favorite locomotive for now is the SD70 ACE Tier 4. Not the Tier 4 Credit. The Tier 4 Credit is a nice locomotive. The Tier 4 unit from EMD, to me, it would look like it was designed by, by weirdos. But to me, that's my least favorite locomotive around right now. Do you like seafood? Oh yeah, buddy. Salmon, flounder, trout, scallops, shrimp, crab cakes. Man, I'll go to town on some crab cakes. But any seafood is good. I love it fried, with either French fries or a side of vegetables on the side. So that's always good, man. But don't forget, top it off with a little dessert. So that's a good question. Favorite HO scale manufacturer? I have several favorites. Bachmann, I like Athearn a lot, Atlas, Walthers. I'm just trying to get back in the model trains a little bit too, so I'm actually happy to really get back into it. But I love Walthers and Athearn, Atlas, Bachmann, so a little bit of everybody. Which looks better, AC44 in Stealth or ACE in Conrail Blue? ACE in Conrail Blue to me. But anyway, that is the August Q&A in 2 parts. I just would like to say thank you very much for everybody for participating in this Q&A. This one was a good one, and I like looking at these and listening to your questions, and also getting to know what your questions are. And I think it's a good way to bring your users together. And I really like this. Asking me different questions about food and trains, department stores, clothes. Hey, that's fine. I mean, I absolutely like that. So I love the variety of questions that are coming in, guys. So I want to say thank you all again for helping me make these Q&As possible. I'm glad to get some new users, and I'm glad to see some other users have returned with more questions. And I still think that's good, because not only do you get something going, you're going to maybe influence somebody else to do it. I know Steve Wiebe BB channel does one as well. He does his monthly like I do, and he and I kind of work the same way, and I think that's pretty cool. So if you guys want to do a spin-off of your own and kind of want to do it like me, that's perfectly fine. Just please remember to give me credit, and I credit Steve Wiebe BB channel for giving me credit, and I credit him as well. So so anyway, guys, that concludes this month's Q&A prompt. If you didn't have any questions this month, I've got another one coming in September that will be released on September the 1st. So I hope you guys enjoyed this two-part compilation of the Q&A. I'm Engineer Pat 5290, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, guys. Peace out, and may God bless.